There's one feeling you've been avoiding since childhood. Every choice you've made, every person you've let in or pushed away, every moment of distraction has been orchestrated to keep you from confronting it. But what nobody's explained is this: that buried emotion isn't just influencing your behavior, it's actively collapsing the quantum possibilities around you into a single predetermined outcome. It's selecting which timeline you're living, and until you turn toward it, truly witness it, you'll continue recreating yesterday under the guise of tomorrow. Let me ask you directly, have you noticed that you understand your patterns but can't break them? You've gained insight, you've processed, you've analyzed. Yet somehow you keep cycling through identical emotional territories, identical defensive reactions, identical narratives with new faces playing the same roles. Here's what's actually occurring, and it has nothing to do with weakness or willpower. You're existing within a quantum field at this very moment, an infinite matrix of potential. A field that doesn't respond to how hard you try, but to the frequency you're emanating. Not what you're attempting to accomplish, but the energetic signature of who you're currently being. And this is where quantum physics becomes profoundly personal. There's a principle called the observer effect. The understanding that observation itself transforms a probability wave into concrete reality. Your awareness, your conscious attention, literally determines which version of infinite possibilities materializes as your lived experience. But what if the state you've been observing from is the problem? What if the emotion you've spent a lifetime evading is the exact mechanism locking you into a collapsed reality that mirrors your history? Ready to go deeper into what they're not telling you? So here's the fundamental misunderstanding most people carry about emotions and reality formation. They believe emotions are merely responses to circumstances. Good event equals pleasant feeling. Difficult event equals painful feeling. Standard stimulus-response dynamics. But that's backwards, because here's the paradigm shift that rewrites everything. Your emotions aren't reactions at all. They're transmissions, electromagnetic broadcasts, and within the quantum field, they're the dominant variable determining which latent reality becomes your tangible experience. Let me ground this in science because this understanding is too critical to remain abstract. Research by Dr. Joe Dispenza has demonstrated that emotional states aren't just internal experiences. They're measurable energy signatures. Your heart creates an electromagnetic field extending multiple feet beyond your physical form. This field carries encoded information. And the quantum matrix surrounding you, this invisible web of pure potentiality, is continuously reading that information. Consider your radio receiver. You don't doubt that invisible frequencies are traveling through space right now. You can't perceive them directly, but you trust their existence. Your emotional state is broadcasting a specific frequency at this precise moment, and the quantum field is tuned in. The question becomes, what station are you playing? Most humans operate from survival frequency, and this matters more than you realize. When you're functioning through survival emotions like fear, rage, chronic worry, or shame, your brain chemistry shifts dramatically. It releases specific compounds: cortisol, adrenaline, norepinephrine. These are potent stress hormones designed brilliantly for acute physical danger. They work perfectly when genuine threats appear. But here's the fundamental problem. Modern humans aren't fleeing predators. They're fleeing feelings, and your body cannot distinguish between actual danger and remembered pain, between a genuine threat and the echo of your mother's criticism. So your physiology continues pumping out survival chemistry, day after relentless day, year after exhausting year, until something extraordinary occurs. The emotion becomes memorized. Let that penetrate for a moment. You don't simply experience the emotion temporarily and move on. You encode it. The feeling becomes so rehearsed, so familiar, that your body begins craving it. It transforms into your baseline state, your homeostasis, your strange comfort zone, even though it feels anything but comfortable. And this is where neuroscience becomes breathtaking. Dr. Bruce Lipton's groundbreaking work in epigenetics reveals that chronic emotional patterns don't just color your mood. They literally communicate with your DNA. They instruct your cells on which proteins to manufacture. They're sculpting your biology in real time. If you're dwelling in fear continuously, your body concludes the external environment is hostile. If you're marinating in guilt, your body interprets you as undeserving. If you're saturated in anger, your body perceives constant attack. And here's the quantum connection most people completely overlook. Your body doesn't merely react to your surroundings. It forecasts them. It generates them. Because in quantum reality, the observer doesn't passively witness. The observer actively participates in manifestation. When your body is chemically programmed to anticipate danger, scarcity, or inadequacy, you unconsciously filter your environment for evidence validating that expectation. You literally search for justification to feel the memorized emotion. Not because you're self-sabotaging, but because your nervous system is attempting to create coherence between your internal chemistry and external circumstances. If this is landing for you, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel to stay in this frequency of understanding. This is what physicists call entrainment in quantum systems. This is what physicists call entrainment in quantum systems. Your thoughts, your feelings, and your environment are all attempting to synchronize, to match frequencies. And when your primary frequency is survival mode, the quantum field constructs a survival reality. Not out of punishment, but out of precision. Think about how this plays out in your actual life. If you're carrying deep unworthiness, you might unconsciously choose partners who confirm that unworthiness. Not because you consciously want to be hurt, but because your body is seeking chemical coherence. It's trying to match your internal state with your external experience. If you're carrying fear of abandonment, you might unconsciously create situations where people leave. You might push them away before they can leave on their own. You might test them until they fail. And then you get to feel the familiar emotion, the one your cells are addicted to. This is what makes the pattern so insidious. You're not consciously choosing it. Your subconscious is running a program designed to keep you chemically consistent. And that consistency feels like safety to your nervous system, even when it's destroying your life. Now here's where most people become trapped. They attempt to think their way to freedom. They deploy their conscious mind to set goals, visualize outcomes, and recite affirmations. And they're bewildered when nothing fundamentally shifts. Let me illuminate why. Because 95% of who you've become by your mid-30s is automated programming. Memorized behavioral sequences, emotional reflexes, unconscious patterns, hardwired perspectives, beliefs, and interpretations that operate like software code. And that program is executing in your subconscious mind, beneath conscious awareness, completely automated. So you can consciously intend whatever you wish. But if your subconscious is transmitting a contradictory signal, if your body is biochemically dependent on unworthiness, then which signal does the quantum field amplify? The more powerful one. The one that's been broadcasting uninterrupted for decades. The one that's been encoded into your cellular memory. This explains why willpower eventually crumbles, why positive thinking in isolation falls short. Because you're attempting to override a biological addiction using mental effort alone. And biology possesses greater authority. Your subconscious mind processes approximately 40 million bits of information per second. Your conscious mind, about 40 bits per second. That's a 1,000,000-to-1 ratio. So when there's a conflict between conscious intention and subconscious programming, the subconscious wins every time. Not sometimes, every time. But here's the revolutionary insight that transforms everything. The instant you become aware of what was unconscious, the moment you observe the emotion you've been evading, something fundamental shifts. You activate your prefrontal cortex, the brain region granting you self-awareness, metacognition. And in that moment of conscious observation, you're no longer being the conditioned self. You're witnessing the conditioned self. That represents a quantum transformation. Because now, instead of unconsciously perpetuating the loop, you're consciously recognizing it. And recognition initiates liberation. So here's my question for you. What if that emotion you've been avoiding isn't your adversary? What if it's the doorway to your freedom? Because here's what almost nobody grasps. There's typically one foundational emotion underneath everything else. One feeling orchestrating the entire production. One memorized state collapsing your quantum field into identical reality over and over again. And it's hidden in plain sight. It might be a profound sense of not enoughness, the deep conviction that you're inherently lacking, that love must be earned, that you must justify your existence. It might be fear, the perpetual anticipation of loss, abandonment, or catastrophe that keeps you contracted and defended. It might be shame, the belief that something fundamental about your being is defective, and if others truly perceived you, they'd reject you. Whatever yours is, and trust me, somewhere within you knows exactly what it is, even if you've never consciously named it. That emotion has become the lens filtering your entire experience, and it's time to look directly at it. Before we go deeper, I'm curious. What emotion do you recognize as your core pattern? Drop it in the comments below. Sometimes just naming it publicly begins the transformation. So let's go there together. Let's explore what this actually manifests as in your physical body, in your daily life, in your moment-to-moment experience. Because I need you to understand, deeply understand, that you're not isolated in this. What you're experiencing isn't your personal failure. It's the collective human condition. When we're trapped in survival mode, there are specific emotions nearly all of us cycle through. Dr. Joe Dispenza mapped out 21 core survival emotions, and as I name them, I want you to notice which ones resonate in your body, which ones create a subtle shift in your posture, which ones you recognize as unwelcome companions: insecurity, hatred, judgment, victimization, worry, guilt, depression, shame, anxiety, regret, suffering, frustration, fear, greed, sadness, disgust, envy, anger, resentment, unworthiness, lack. Now here's the crucial understanding. These emotions aren't isolated islands. They're neurologically and chemically interconnected. They feed each other. They cascade into each other. One triggers another in a domino effect. You might begin with anger. That anger morphs into frustration. Frustration breeds hatred. Hatred generates judgment. Judgment cultivates envy. Envy produces insecurity. And insecurity makes you competitive, protective, reactive. See the pattern? It's a chemical chain reaction. And embedded within that chain is your core emotion. The one you first memorized, typically during childhood, typically as a response to something your developing nervous system couldn't integrate. Perhaps a caregiver who was emotionally absent. Perhaps harsh criticism that taught you were deficient. Perhaps trauma, abandonment, or loss. Whatever the originating event was, your body generated a survival response. And that response became your default operating system. And here's something most people never consider. That original event might not have even been objectively traumatic. It doesn't take abuse or severe neglect to create a memorized emotion. Sometimes all it takes is a moment when you needed connection and received distance, a moment when you needed validation and received criticism, a moment when you needed safety and experienced uncertainty. Your young nervous system interpreted that moment as evidence of something fundamentally wrong with you or the world, and it created an emotional program to protect you from ever feeling that vulnerable again. But that protection became a prison, because the emotion that was supposed to keep you safe started keeping you stuck. It became the filter through which you experienced everything. And now, decades later, you're still running that program. Still trying to avoid that original feeling. Still creating situations that prove the original belief true. Now let me pose this question. How do you think when this emotion dominates? Because here's the thing about memorized emotions. They don't merely affect your feelings. They determine your thought patterns. Your mental state is directly governed by your emotional state. If your core emotion is fear, your thinking becomes anxious, catastrophic, desperate. You scan constantly for danger. You project worst-case scenarios. You expect disaster. If your core emotion is anger, your thinking becomes rigid, critical, superiority-focused. You need to be correct. You construct barriers. You create distance before anyone can wound you. If your core emotion is victimization, your thinking becomes helpless, resentful, comparative. You narrate stories about unfairness, about never catching a break, about others having advantages you lack. And here's what most people never realize. Your thoughts regenerate the same emotions, so you become imprisoned in a feedback loop. You generate the thought produces the feeling reinforces the thought intensifies the feeling, round and round. A cycle executing automatically beneath conscious awareness. This is what neuroscientists call a neuroassociative loop. Your neurons that fire together wire together. So if you've been thinking fearful thoughts while feeling fear for 20 years, those neural pathways have become superhighways in your brain. They're the path of least resistance. Your brain doesn't have to work to go there. It's automatic. It's efficient. It's what your brain does best, repeat patterns. And all of this, every thought, every feeling, every chemical reaction, is occurring in your physical body. This is the part people consistently miss. Your body isn't just experiencing the emotion. Your body is becoming the emotion. Let me clarify what I mean. When you generate a thought, your brain manufactures neuropeptides, chemical messengers that circulate through your bloodstream and attach to receptor sites on your cells. Every single thought possesses a distinct chemical signature, and every cell in your body contains receptor sites designed to receive those chemicals. When you repeat identical thoughts continuously, your cells develop additional receptor sites for those specific chemicals. They begin craving them. They literally become addicted to the chemistry of your familiar emotional states. So even when you consciously desire transformation, your body is magnetically pulling you back toward the known feeling, because your cells are literally hungry for the chemicals they've become dependent on. This explains why pattern interruption is so challenging. You're not merely addressing a mental habit. You're confronting a physiological addiction. Your cells have been conditioned to expect and crave specific emotional chemistry. Dr. Candace Pert, who discovered the opiate receptor, found that neuropeptides and their receptors are the biochemical basis of emotion. She called them molecules of emotion. And when you've been feeling the same emotion for years, your body has literally structured itself around that emotion. Think about what this means. Your body is physically constructed to support your emotional patterns. The architecture of your cells reflects your habitual feelings, and your body will fight to maintain that architecture, because to your body, consistency equals survival. Change equals danger. Even if the change is positive, your body perceives it as a threat to homeostasis. Now, what we're exploring today is the foundation of breaking this cellular addiction through conscious observation. But this recognition practice is just the entry point into a much deeper system of frequency transformation. If you're feeling the resonance of these principles, if something in you is recognizing truth here, I've compiled the complete framework in my book, Beyond the Frequencies, A Quantum Guide to Consciousness Mastery. It walks you through the entire journey from being trapped in survival static to becoming a conscious broadcaster of your desired reality, including the specific practices for transmuting these memorized emotions at the cellular level. It's linked in the pinned comment below. Now I want you to pause for a moment. If you're somewhere safe to do this, close your eyes. Connect with your core emotion, the one you recognize is there, the one you've been carrying like invisible weight. And I want you to notice what occurs in your body as you connect with it. Do you feel heat, agitation, restlessness, weakness, flushing, deflation, constriction? Where does the sensation concentrate? Is it lodged in your chest, constricting your throat, knotted in your abdomen, gripping your shoulders? Notice how your breath pattern changes. Notice any pain, any muscular tension, any areas of numbness. Don't attempt to alter it. Don't try to make it disappear. Simply observe it. Remain present with it. Allow yourself to experience the emotion as energy moving through your physical form. And as you're feeling this, I want you to recognize something profound. This sensation, this feeling that seems so solid, so permanent, so much like who you are. It's actually just energy. It's electromagnetic information. It's a pattern of neurons firing. It's chemicals flowing through your bloodstream. It's not solid. It's not permanent. It's not who you are. It's something you're experiencing. And there's a difference. A crucial difference. Because here's the truth that triggers resistance. Almost everything you've constructed in your life has been an elaborate strategy to avoid this feeling. Consider that deeply for a moment. The career path you selected, the relationships you clung to or fled from, the distractions, the substances, the behaviors, the relentless doing, accomplishing, performing, proving. All of it architected to escape this singular feeling. And because of that feeling, you created an idealized image for the world instead of an authentic vision for yourself. You constructed your existence around securing approval, acceptance, or validation from others. Because if they validated you, perhaps you could finally outrun the feeling. But it never succeeds. because the feeling resides inside you, and no quantity of external validation can fill an internal absence. So you continue running, and the quantum field continues delivering more experiences that mirror your internal frequency. Not the frequency you aspire to, the frequency you actually are. This is the split, the chasm between who you present externally and who you actually feel like internally. And existing in that gap is exhausting. It's like living two lives simultaneously. One life where you're confident, capable, and in control. Another life where you're terrified, inadequate, and barely holding it together. And the energy it takes to maintain both realities is draining you. Think about how much mental energy you expend managing other people's perceptions of you. How much effort goes into making sure nobody sees the real you, the scared you, the broken you, the not enough you. That energy could be directed toward creation, toward growth, toward joy. But instead, it's being used to maintain a facade, to keep the world from seeing what you're convinced they can't handle seeing. But here's what I need you to hear. This isn't your fault. You didn't consciously choose to memorize this emotion. Your nervous system did what it needed to do to ensure survival. And now you possess a choice. Because here's what nobody explains about the observer effect. The moment you observe something, you alter it. In quantum mechanics, this is experimentally verified. A particle exists as a probability wave, pure potential, until observation occurs. The act of observation collapses that wave into a definite state. Your memorized emotion operates identically. While it remains unconscious, it dominates you. It executes automatically. It collapses your quantum field into identical reality repeatedly. But the instant you observe it consciously, the moment you name it, feel it, acknowledge it without fleeing from it, you're no longer identified with it. You're not the emotion. You're the awareness observing the emotion. And that changes everything. Because now you possess choice. Now you possess agency. Not the power to suppress or combat it, the power to alchemize it. This is where most spiritual teachings get it wrong. They tell you to transcend the emotion, to rise above it, to not feel it. But that's just another form of avoidance, another strategy to run from what you don't want to feel, and it doesn't work. Because what you resist persists. What you avoid grows stronger. What you push away follows you. The path to freedom isn't through avoidance. It's through presence. It's through feeling the feeling fully. It's through observing it without judgment, without story, without needing it to be different. Just pure observation, pure presence, pure witnessing. So here's the radical paradigm shift I'm inviting you into. You must recognize what the pattern is before you can transform it. You must name it to claim power over it. This is what I call conscious recognition. And it's the essential first step in liberating yourself from memorized emotional patterns. Recognition means bringing consciousness to what was operating unconsciously. It means engaging your prefrontal cortex, that uniquely human brain region, to observe yourself objectively. Most people live life being the programmed self. They react mechanically. They repeat familiar thoughts. They regenerate familiar feelings. They make familiar choices. And they wonder why their reality remains static. But when you activate your prefrontal cortex, you transform from being the old self to becoming the observer of the old self. And that's a quantum leap in awareness. So let me give you the practical methodology, the one I've guided thousands through, the one that creates transformation if you're willing to be radically honest with yourself. You're going to use what I call metacognitive inquiry. These are questions designed to activate your self-reflective capabilities, your capacity to think about your thinking, to witness your being. Here's the first inquiry. What kind of person am I actually? Not who you aspire to become. Not the story you tell yourself. Who are you really? Are you reactive, domineering, insecure, judgmental, avoidant, impatient, defended? Don't soften it. Don't rationalize it. Simply name it truthfully. And I want you to get specific here. Don't just say, I'm anxious. Describe how that anxiety shows up. Do you overthink every decision? Do you need constant reassurance? Do you avoid situations where you might fail? Do you control others to manage your fear? Get granular with this, because the more specific you are, the more power you have to change it. Second inquiry. What version of myself do I present to the world? This is the mask, the constructed persona, the carefully curated self you've designed to be acceptable, impressive, successful, the performance. Who do people perceive you to be? And here's the inquiry that penetrates deep. Is there a gap between these two? Between who you actually are internally and who you display externally? If so, that gap is where your life force drains. That gap is where your power leaks. Because maintaining a false self requires tremendous energy. And most people have multiple masks. You have the work mask, the family mask, the friend mask, the social media mask. Each one carefully constructed to show a different audience what they want to see. And you're so practiced at switching between them that you've forgotten what's underneath. You've forgotten who you are when nobody's watching. Third inquiry. What emotion do I struggle with daily? You know what it is intimately. You experienced it when you woke up. You'll experience it before sleep tonight. It's the emotional climate that accompanies you constantly. Is it chronic anxiety, deep unworthiness, paralyzing fear, burning resentment, persistent guilt? Name it. Write it down if that helps, but name it clearly. And here's a deeper question. When did you first feel this emotion? Can you remember the first time? You might not remember the specific event, but you can probably remember the feeling. Maybe you were 5 years old. Maybe you were 10. Maybe you were 15. But there was a moment when this emotion became yours, when it moved from a temporary feeling to a permanent identity. Fourth inquiry. How do I think when I'm experiencing this feeling? Because remember, your emotional state generates your mental state. Your feelings create your thoughts. When you're immersed in your core emotion, what thought patterns automatically emerge? Do you think victim narratives? Why does this keep happening to me? Do you think control narratives? I must manage everything or chaos ensues. Do you think catastrophic narratives? This will end badly. I can feel it coming. Pay attention to the pattern, because this is your subconscious programming executing. And notice how automatic these thoughts are. You don't consciously choose them. They just appear, like pop-up ads in your mind. And most of the time, you don't even question them. You assume they're true. You assume they're reality, but they're not. They're just thoughts, mental patterns, neural habits, and habits can be changed. Fifth inquiry. What physical sensations accompany this emotion? Because your body is your subconscious mind made visible, and the body cannot lie. Close your eyes again. Connect with your core emotion and scan your physical form. Do you experience chest constriction, abdominal tension, jaw clenching, shoulder heaviness? Notice where the emotion has taken up residence in your body, because that's where it's been stored. That's where your past is living in your present moment. Your body stores emotional memory in your tissues. This is why massage therapists will tell you that sometimes people start crying during body work. The physical manipulation releases stored emotional content. Your muscles, your fascia, your organs all hold memory. And that memory is constantly influencing your present experience. And here's the profound part. Your body has been conditioned into believing your external world remains unchanged because you keep generating identical internal chemistry. So your body is literally preparing you for the same past over and over again. It's conditioning you to expect repetition of what you've already lived. This is why you cannot simply think your way into a new future, because your body is anchored in your past. But when you become aware of these sensations, when you observe them without judgment, without attempting to change them, you begin separating your consciousness from your conditioning. You begin awakening from the dream. Now here's where this becomes truly powerful. There are documented cases of people who've had near-death experiences. They describe something called a life review. They witness their entire existence, every moment, every decision, every interaction from an objective vantage point. They see who they authentically were, not who they believed themselves to be, who they actually were through their actions, thoughts, and words. And they see how their thoughts and emotions affected everyone in their sphere. The ripple effects of their energetic frequency, and almost universally, they return wanting to live differently, not because they were condemned, but because they finally saw themselves with clarity. Well, you don't need to die to experience a life review. You can engage one right now, every single day, through meditation. And this is the practice I'm inviting you to commit to. You sit, you close your eyes, you guide yourself into an induction, a process of moving beyond your analytical mind and dropping into deeper awareness. And then you pose these inquiries to yourself. You observe your emotional patterns. You feel the sensations in your body. You notice your thought sequences. You become the witness of your own consciousness. And in that witnessing, something remarkable unfolds. The emotion begins releasing its grip on you, not through suppression, but because you're no longer fused with it. You're not the anxiety. You're the awareness observing the anxiety. You're not the unworthiness. You're the consciousness noticing the unworthiness. You're not the anger. You're the spacious awareness that contains the anger. And that awareness, that observer, is your true identity. It's the quantum you, the consciousness that exists beyond your conditioning, beyond your history, beyond your memorized emotions. This is the observer effect in direct application. When you observe your emotional patterns from spacious awareness, you collapse the quantum probability wave into a new reality. Not the reality of your past, the reality of your present moment consciousness. Now let me be absolutely clear. This isn't a one-time event. This is a practice, a daily discipline. Because your body has been chemically conditioned for years, perhaps decades. Those neural pathways are deeply grooved. Those cellular receptor sites are desperately hungry for their familiar chemicals. So you must practice training the body, teaching it that it no longer needs to operate on autopilot, that it no longer needs to be the mind. And the way you accomplish that is through observation, through feeling the emotion without reactivity, through being present with what is instead of fleeing from it. Some days will feel effortless. Some days will feel impossible. Some days you'll sense progress. Some days you'll feel like you've regressed completely. But here's what you must understand. Every time you observe the emotion instead of being controlled by it, you're weakening the old neural pathway. You're pruning the old circuitry. And every time you choose a different response, a different thought, a different action, you're constructing a new neural pathway. You're wiring in a new possibility. This is neuroplasticity in action, the brain's capacity to reorganize itself, and the quantum field responds to that transformation. Because you're no longer broadcasting the identical signal. You're no longer collapsing the wave of possibility into identical reality. You're becoming someone new, not in the future, right now, in this moment of observation. And the quantum field meets you there. And here's something beautiful that happens as you practice this. You start to notice gaps between the stimulus and your reaction, spaces where there used to be none. You feel the emotion arising, and instead of immediately reacting, there's a pause, a moment of awareness, a breath of consciousness. And in that pause, you have choice. In that pause, you're free. At first, those pauses are tiny, milliseconds. But as you practice, they grow. Seconds, minutes. Eventually, you can sit with the emotion for as long as it needs to be there. You can feel it fully without being controlled by it. You can be with discomfort without needing to change it. And that's mastery. That's liberation. And here's something powerful. If this content is shifting something in you, share this video with someone who's been stuck in their patterns. That act of sharing isn't just helpful to them. It reinforces your own understanding, creates a synchronicity in the field, and accelerates your own transformation through the act of transmitting these frequencies outward. So here's what I want you to commit to tonight or tomorrow morning or whenever you can create 15 uninterrupted minutes. Sit down, close your eyes, and engage this recognition practice. Begin by asking yourself, what emotion have I been evading my entire life? Don't overthink it. The answer exists within you. It's been there all along, waiting to be witnessed. Once you've named it, feel it completely. Allow yourself to experience it fully in your physical body. Notice where it resides. Notice how it moves. Notice the sensations without attempting to alter them. Then ask, how do I think when experiencing this emotion? What mental state does this feeling generate? Notice the thoughts. Notice the patterns. But don't judge them. Simply observe them. And then ask, who have I become because of this emotion? What kind of person have I been? What kind of reality have I been constructing? Be honest. Ruthlessly honest. This isn't about self-judgment. This is about crystalline clarity. Because only when you are truly conscious and aware do you begin awakening from the dream. And here's the promise I'm making to you. If you commit to this practice, if you show up and observe yourself with this level of honesty, your life will begin transforming. Not because you're forcing change, but because you're no longer unconsciously perpetuating identical patterns. The observer effect is law. The moment you observe something at the quantum level, it transforms, and you are not exempt from that principle. Your consciousness is the most potent force in your reality, not your circumstances, not your history, not the people surrounding you, your awareness, your observation, your presence. That's what collapses the quantum field. That's what determines which version of reality you experience. So the question is, are you ready to observe? Are you ready to see yourself with clarity, perhaps for the first time in your life? Because once you do, There's no return to unconsciousness. Let me tell you what unfolds when you truly commit to this path. Initially, it's uncomfortable. You're going to feel the emotion you've been avoiding. You're going to want to distract yourself, to numb out, to retreat to familiar patterns. Your body is going to resist. It's going to crave the old chemicals. It's going to send signals that something is wrong, that you need to return to the old ways. This is what's called the healing crisis. Your body will actually create symptoms to pull you back to the familiar. You might feel more anxious initially, more depressed, more angry. And your mind will tell you that the practice isn't working, that you're making things worse, that you should stop. But that's not what's happening. What's actually happening is that you're bringing all the suppressed emotion to the surface. You're letting it be seen, and your body is releasing stored emotional content that's been there for years. This is good. This is progress. This is healing. Even though it feels like the opposite. But if you remain with it, if you continue observing, continue feeling, continue being present, something shifts profoundly. The emotion begins moving. It begins transforming. Not because you're battling it, but because you're finally allowing it to be witnessed. And in that transformation, you discover something profound. The emotion was never the problem. The avoidance was the problem. The emotion was simply energy, a sensation in your body, a chemical cascade in your nervous system. It wasn't your identity. It was something you were experiencing. And when you stop fleeing from it, it loses its dominion over you. You become free. Not free from the emotion, free from identification with it. And that's when the quantum field begins responding differently. Because you're no longer broadcasting the identical signal. You're no longer collapsing reality into the same pattern. You're present. You're aware. You're conscious. And consciousness is the force that generates new realities. This is what it means to be reborn without leaving your life. Not to start over, not to become someone else, but to awaken to who you've always been beneath the conditioning. The quantum you, the observer, the consciousness that existed before you memorized the emotion. The consciousness that will remain after you've released it. That's your true identity. Not the fear, not the unworthiness, not the shame or anger or anxiety. You are the awareness that contains all of it, the spaciousness in which all emotions arise and dissolve. And when you live from that awareness, everything transforms. Your relationships transform. Your health transforms. Your energy transforms. Your reality transforms. Not through force, not through striving, but through alignment, through coherence between your consciousness and the quantum field, through the observer effect in direct action. This is the power you've possessed all along. The power to observe, the power to witness, the power to choose which version of reality you collapse into form. And it's been waiting for you to claim it. So take a moment right now and comment below with this phrase: I am the observer, not the emotion. Let that declaration signal to the quantum field that you're choosing consciousness over conditioning, that you're ready to witness rather than react. And if this content is resonating with something in you, if you're feeling a shift, a recognition, then I invite you to subscribe. Not just to this channel, but to this frequency, to this movement of conscious awakening. Because the more of us who embody this understanding, the more the collective field shifts. Your transformation doesn't just affect you, it affects everyone. So here's what we've covered today. You have one core emotion controlling your reality, an emotion you memorized, likely in childhood, that became your default frequency. That emotion broadcasts a signal into the quantum field, and the quantum field responds by manifesting a reality matching that signal. You've been unconsciously recreating your past dressed up as your future. But the observer effect transforms everything. The moment you observe the emotion consciously, without judgment, without avoidance, you're no longer controlled by it. You activate your prefrontal cortex. You become the observer of the old self instead of being the old self. And in that observation, the quantum wave collapses into a new possibility. Not the reality of your past, the reality of your presence. Now here's the thing. This is video number 15 in the Quantum You series, and recognition, what we explored today, is just the beginning. Because once you've observed the emotion, once you've seen it clearly, there's a next step, a step most people never take, a step that requires more courage than observation alone. In video 16, I'm going to reveal what happens after recognition, what you must do with that awareness to actually liberate yourself. It involves something most people are terrified of, and it's the only way to close the gap between who you are and who you've been pretending to be. So if something shifted in you today, if something clicked, if something recognized itself, hit that subscribe button. Subscribe not just to stay connected, but to stay coherent with this frequency of transformation. And drop one word in the comments that captures the energy you're choosing right now. Your energetic signature to the quantum field. I'll see you in number 16, because we're about to venture somewhere most people won't go. Are you ready? But before you go there, you need to understand something crucial. Once you've recognized your core emotion and begun observing it, there's a decision point that determines everything. Most people reach this moment and turn back because they don't understand what's actually required to break free from the pattern completely. In the next video, the moment you choose yourself, reality changes for you. We're going into the quantum mechanics of self-selection and how choosing yourself at the identity level instantly reorganizes the field around you. This is where recognition transforms into embodiment.